Welcome back to Technologies Now, a Business Edge, and this is a broker's perspective. And today we're joined by someone who exemplifies leadership and longevity in real estate, Dorothy Botsoe, broker owner of Dorothy Jensen Realty, a respected educator, a former president of the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, and a voice of advocacy for ethics, diversity, and professional excellence in real estate. Dorothy has built her career in one of the most competitive markets in the country, New York, and has distinguished herself as an agent, a mentor, and a champion of agents who want to do business the right way. Dorothy, it's an honor to have you on the show.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for asking me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start this simple. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. I'm brilliant. All good.
That is excellent. So, Dorothy, you built a respected brokerage and a long career in the industry. So let's start from the beginning. How did you get started, and what was the moment that you knew this was your path and not just a job?
I started this in 1989. I've been in the business a long time. Just look up baby face. That's all it's about. But I've been doing this a very long time. And why did I get into the business? Flexibility, children, access to control my own time, entrepreneurial spirit. That's how I was brought up. My mom encouraged us to own our own businesses. Here, I'm from Ghana, West Africa, originally born. I'm a naturalized citizen, American. But here just gave you the opportunity, no limits. You could do whatever you want. No limits. You can make as much money as you want. You could be a bum, or you could work really hard and just do great things. So there are no limits here. And that's why real estate makes it very easy for me to be able to spread my wings. And that's how I got into it.
That's fantastic. So was there a particular moment, or you just realized that as you looked into this, real estate made the most sense for you because of the things you just said?
The particular moment that I decided to get into real estate, by the way, I'm writing a book about it, so it's terrifying, but it's great. But I got into real estate because when I was looking for a home, it wasn't a pleasant experience. And I think at that time, I didn't really think about it. But when I look back at my process in terms of the houses I was shown, the agent's communication, the words that were used, I just believed I could do it much better. And I didn't want anybody to feel the way I felt. So I said, get into the business. Literally, it was discriminatory. But I just felt that I take discrimination different ways. I don't look at it and build on it and get mad. It's more, I'll just show you I can do better. So I got into the business and I did better.
That is awesome. And it sounds like that's led you to training and education, and some of that is on ethics and these sorts of things. Is that
Absolutely.
Right? Yes.
Absolutely. When I got into the business, I started out, I took a couple of years just to take several courses and get designations and know the ins and outs, how to negotiate, how to list, how to work with buyers, how to communicate better, leadership roles. I got involved in the business. So the first couple of years was really trying to figure out where I would fit personally and what was important to me. Selling homes is really important and helping people with that process. But once I got into it, I love teaching. I love advocacy. I love letting people know what the opportunities that are available to them are. But I think it was just more that feeling of you're not welcome was just not a good thing. And so I dived into the fair housing space, discrimination, segregation, redlining, and those are my pet classes. Love them because it allows me to let people know, you know, you can choose wherever you want to live. You're not limited to something just because somebody said so. So I love that.
That's perfect. That's empowering for other people. And this gives you a platform, you know, clearly to make a difference. And and you're passionate about it. You can sense that immediately. Yes.
Love it. Love it. That's my go-to. Love it. And it's important because I think that where we are in this country right now, housing allows you to get some stability and peace of mind and some ownership of what's called the American dream, whatever that is for you. But I think that if we can teach the history of this country, I think we'd be better off. If we knew it and we appreciated it and appreciated each other, I think we'll make things a little easier. We're all stuck in our little corners, and it's a little difficult, but real estate is one that you have the flexibility to live where you want, choose what you want to be, as long as you can afford to be there. Go for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So with that, you've seen changes. You started back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Most recently, we went through COVID. Was that a boom or a bust in the market for you?
COVID was detrimental in a sense that, you know, I think people are navigating COVID differently. And real estate, we were in New York, we were locked down. We couldn't do anything. So we had to create new relationships with our photographers because they were allowed to go into the properties.
Oh, yes.
So we started selling properties without actually visiting them, except using the CDs and the pictures. And people bought homes, but it wasn't the same. So you had to pivot. You still had the relationship, but now we all masked up and not meeting each other. And the only person who was giving us access was the homeowner and the photographer. So once you pivot, and so through the business, throughout, I've been through the highs, the lows, the mortgage foreclosures, and coming back, and high interest rates, and it's just been a seesaw, a roller coaster ride. But it's been a lot of fun, learning, a lot of learning.
Yes, I can imagine. And if we went back further in time, what changes have you seen since the 80s to 2025? I mean, maybe just a couple changes.
A couple of changes.
Couple
When I
changes.
started, well, the MLS, the multiple listing service where we now put all our stuff and people can go and search, was not really big back then. We had to use the books. We had books, so we were running around with books. But now you have access to all the technology, putting your listings all over Zillow and all of these websites. And that gives a lot of access and opens it up to everybody. When you had these communities where you had to use the books, it also, if you had an agent who didn't really want to show your property, have access to those books, you were limited in what you saw.
Wow.
So this technology will have it. When the computers came out, AOL, America Online, and now we've grown to, we don't even know where we are with all this technology, AI, and everybody in our business. It's really a fast moving pace. My space, I tend to try to control it as much as I can without crazy AI and all this technology. But I think that technology is needed. I think the relationship that we have with our buyers, sellers, landlords, and tenants is still a requirement. You can't get away from that human touch. So we use the technology and touch each other. That's a good thing.
That is perfect. Yes, I've heard a broker that I was talking to really say you can't lose track of the fact that we're human to human,
Yeah,
that interaction, even if it's, with using your phone, chats and texts and phone calls, you still have to react to other people,
yes,
in a positive way to make them feel
agreed.
comfortable and move them along. And they're just possibly coming from different places where they only want to, text or whatever it happens to be because they don't really, I don't know, they have a different method of different modus of operandi. Yes.
I agree. I think that my communication style is pretty short. It's really short. Let's get to the point. And so text messaging for me can be pretty abrupt, for people who are on the receiving end of my text messages or emails, sometimes it can be very, but also when I'm on the phone, I just want to get to the point and be done, so that the communication is there, but you can't always text somebody. Once in a while, you got to pick up the phone and say, hey, I just want to hear your voice, and you hang
Right.
up. And that's me, hey, how you doing? You all right? Great. And I hang up and go. I don't need a 30-minute conversation. 5 minute reach out and touch you. We're still here. You're good? Great.
You sound
On
like a
to
New
it.
Yorker. Yes, you sound like a New Yorker to me from that perspective.
I don't think we are all that impatient. I think it's just for me, communication has to be meaningful.
Hmm.
I'm fascinated by people. I like houses, but I'm fascinated by people, how you think, how you talk. Why do you like this house? Why do you like this area? What's it doing for you? That's my fascination. I can go deep into that. You've got your pages of questions. I can go deep into who you are, why you're doing this, and why this particular field. Because that's how you get to know somebody, I think. When you're
Yes.
interested in who they are, I think it's genuine, it's honest. And if you're boring, then I'll just let you know you're boring. But otherwise, I'll listen to you. I will listen to you and you can go on with it.
So that's your what 45-second psychology of real estate clients, maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah, with the clients, I think it's more listening than anything. Some of us real estate agents can talk a lot. I'm not big. I talk a lot in class because I have to get the information out
Right,
there and
right,
make
right.
my point. But when I'm working with clients, I don't talk a lot. I hear what you have to say. We try to find what you need and we guide you in the process and provide, you know, a lot less input from me, but making sure you have the tools and resources to make a good decision, so making sure you're aware what is available to you. So
Right.
you have to show up differently sometimes.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, we have
Yeah,
two ears, one mouth, right? If we need to understand, we need to actually listen. Saw a
absolutely.
really good post on LinkedIn just yesterday. talking about the 5 steps of listening. And I'm not getting into that. This isn't the place for that. But, the whole point was, people don't stop to actively listen, to understand, to communicate. And then if you're working with your clients, how can you understand what they're after unless you're listening? You can't just tell them, you'll love this house, right? Or, this brownstone, whatever it is, right? You have to
Yeah.
understand what they're after and what's their next step. Why are they moving? Why are they buying the first house, their 5th house, whatever it happens to be?
Agreed. We do. When you're talking to people, I don't know if you've noticed that, but when you're talking to people, I used to do that. I will hear what you're saying, but I've already got an answer forming in my mind, right? So what I decided to do is, whilst you're talking, I'm paying attention. And before I respond, I count to 20.
Oh,
Because it gives me an opportunity to have you catch your breath, stop talking, and then I have also taken the time to think through what I want to say. So the conversation is not just, oh yeah, I no. It's I heard you, and here we're gonna go. It took a minute for me to get that right. I had to work on it because sometimes people can go on, and by the time you get to the point, I've lost my mind. So
this is fun. That is great. You recognize that in yourself, and you recognize the value of listening.
absolutely,
So yes.
yep, yep.
Yes. Now I've talked with many people, and I've caught myself doing it. And I try to make sure, I never do this, but I try to make sure that I'm actively listening. I'm actually actively listening and not just waiting to talk. You talk to those people that are just waiting to talk, and you can
Yeah.
say anything. They already know what they're going to say, like you're talking about. That's really interesting.
I think it's important. And also in our business, my business, actually, it's more about what do you want? What do you need from me? How can I help you get to where you need to go? That means I do need to listen and I need to be very interested in what you're saying. That means I need to stop talking, just
That's
hear
fair.
you out. If I disagree, I'm going to let you know, but at least we'll hear you out and then
Right.
we'll come up with a plan. And I think that's really important.
So give me a scenario where maybe you weren't listening and it led you along the wrong path, and then you realized listening, or it was a communication issue, whatever it was, that it was the aha to say, well, you're really after this house, or you really want to accomplish this, or whatever it is. Do you have an interesting story around that?
Interesting story. I think it was an interesting story. It was a couple of things. A client was looking for, people come in and say, well, I don't want 2-story. I only want one level. Yeah, right. We see everything. I just disregard that because what I realize with my clients, some of them don't know the difference. And then they see something, they say, oh, I just didn't want the one with the stairs going all the way up. I don't mind the 2-stair thing. So I just say we're going to look at 6 different styles. Then we'll narrow it down. And the thing they came in with saying, I don't want, is the one they end up buying. It's the one. But I think that making sure that I hear you. Okay, you don't want the one with 50 stairs. Got you.
Yeah.
How about we look at everything? Let's just look at everything, one of each, and let's narrow it down to what works. The one they didn't want is always the one they end up buying. Always. It just always. And then you say, well, I didn't think, and they go, oh my God, I didn't think I'd love that. And I'm going, have to see it all if it's there. So you can make it's a good thing. It's a good thing. The business, you meet so many different people, quirky, crazy, needy, clingy, crazy. I love the crazies. I don't know, maybe there's a little crazy in all of us, just a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that allows you to be able to hear somebody's request and you're thinking, are you out of your mind? You're thinking it. You didn't say it yet, but
Not yet.
you're saying, I don't know if I can find that, but we will work on that. And then we'll go and we'll try to, you try to make it work in how, but then it's working as a team. I can't find that crazy thing, but how about we collaborate and look at a few things and see what works for you? So,
Right.
Some people come up with some outlandish stuff and I go, I can't do that. Can't find that. Not here. Maybe in California, but not here.
Maybe on the other coast.
Somewhere else.
That's interesting. So speaking of New York, you've been there obviously quite a while. What changes have you seen in real estate over the years? Are there trends, or is it just there's more people and they're shifting around and buying different things? There's more options, or there's fewer options?
Well, I'm out in the suburbs. I'm about 30 minutes from New York City. So I'm out in the suburbs and I love it here because, I like the peace. I'm not very outdoorsy, but I do like not the lights and the crazy. So when people come in and they're from the city, once they're out of the city, like 10 minutes, they go, oh my God, I'm upstate. No, you're not.
I love that.
Upstate is in Binghamton or Rochester. We are still in the city. But I think that COVID, let's go to COVID. That was huge, huge, huge. Created a lot of craziness. It created a lot of inventory just flying off the market at insane
Hmm.
prices, overbidding, people buying houses sight unseen.
Crazy.
It created a frenzy. A lot of people made money. A lot of people couldn't sell a stick. So it was really, it showed in our business, you have those who make money and those of us who continue to do the marketing and talking to people, working through our relationships. And then those who are barely making it because there's no inventory right now. Very short, large shortage of inventory, houses to sell, nothing. Because the people who are in the homes that may want to move may have that 2 or 3% interest rate. And they're
They're
not
not moving.
moving to go pay that $6,000 a month rent when I've already got a $3,000 mortgage I'm paying here. Why would I leave? And I think you look at that, and so there's a shortage. So when houses come on the market, if they're priced well, they need a little bit of work of vision, they're snatched up. And you still have the same crazy overbidding. Sometimes you have investors who are sitting with money.
Right.
Then, the first time home buyers are not able to get in. I have buyers who don't even want to go out anymore. We're not
Mm.
doing it, Dorothy. I've been disappointed so many times. And my thing is, it's okay, but when you're not in it, you're not participating. You can't tell me you're not finding anything because you're no longer in it. You've
You're not
taken
looking.
yourself.
Right. Yep.
So there's a lot of educating that needs to be done, but a lot of also calming the fears because there's been a little bit of turmoil within the real estate industry space with the lawsuits and whatnots. And so now you have to communicate a bit differently. I've always communicated differently because I took so many courses in the beginning that you adjust, but there wasn't a huge adjustment because I was already doing that. Now, for agents who came in and the business is not as flowy as it is, you get creative, but how creative are you getting and not pushing the envelope? You got to be on the straight and narrow. So
Hmm.
the business has changed quite a bit. I was telling somebody today, are we still having fun in real estate? Not really.
Mm.
Some of us are having a great time. Some of us are struggling a little bit. Some of us are having a hard time just keeping up with all the changes and the rules that keep coming. Every time you turn around, there's another set of rules. But I think the level of consistency in your business would show up when you have systems, when you have systems that are there. So you don't have a lot of chaos. It's static. It's there. It's good. It's working. And you don't have to pivot and be crazy as much. So for those of us who have some sort of established system, process, guardrails, rules, whatever you want to call them, things are good. Things are good. But you still have that. Right now, we're going into the holidays. I mean, properties are coming on the market around here. They're still priced. I mean, our market's a bit high, but where it used to be, years ago, I'd say COVID changed a lot of things. So prior to 2018, 2017, 18, where you could buy homes in certain markets for about 450, 500. That same neighborhood is now at 575, 650. You can't, that's the affordable space.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Nothing there. So it's really interesting. I mean, because then you think about the kids coming out of college. I call them kids coming out of college, trying to find something. Then we have affordable rentals here at $2,600 a month. What's affordable about that? 1,600 is affordable. 2,600 is crazy for a studio.
Right. Right.
So
Yes.
you have to just educate some of these, and it's shocking. That's why our kids are back home living with
Right.
us.
Yes. Ours have not made it back here. We're going to knock on wood right now. Things are going well.
You're funny. They're not come back yet.
No, no, no. Well, they don't want to. So, it doesn't
Oh,
make any
that's very
sense.
good.
Yeah.
That's very good. Very good. Good for them.
Yeah. And they're in different cities. So they're not close by, for the most part. So they're all doing their thing, which is good. And we support
That means
every
you
bit
did
of
your
that.
job. You and your wife did a great job. You did great.
Some days I think so. Some days, yeah, it's yet to be determined. It's a dynamic world for sure.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
So you had
It's
talked
life.
about you jumped in with a lot of training and education.
Mhm.
Obviously, you instruct and these sorts of things. I looked at your
Yeah.
certificates, and it's like alphabet soup. What made you get so many certifications, and why is that important to you? And how does that help serve your clients?
When I got into the business, how I got into the business and the experience I had just let me know that I have to be 50 times smarter than you. I
Okay.
have to know my stuff because I was being judged on who I was. Young woman, black, whatever. Even though I was brought up by thank God, by my parents with no focus on your color, your integrity is what's important to me, your
Mhm.
character. But I was being judged differently. So I just felt that. And my dad's a teacher also. My parents were thought, but you look at that, you say, I just have to know my job well in order to be able to walk into that room with a heck of a lot of confidence and
Right.
able to tell you how we're going to do this. And you can like it or not, but at least I have to know my job well. And part of knowing my job is all the alphabet soup, as you said, address a particular part of the business. A certified residential specialist.
Mhm.
I am able to look at your home, be able to address issues, help you market it properly. I'm a buyer agent, buyer representative. I know how to work with buyers, negotiate for them, walk them through the process, go through contracts and advise them. So each and every designation has a specific focus, which all boils into the same thing. We're all negotiating, selling a home. But in order to be better in one space, I think that it doesn't hurt to have additional education that will just enhance what you already know. You're doing it anyway, but now you can say my true representation. Where are my check marks or are the boxes I need to look at? So if I'm working with a buyer who needs representation, I come to the table with that tool
Right.
and I'm able to deliver that service, or working with the seller or somebody who's having issues with the foreclosure or anything. So I do the whole counseling also to make sure when you buy a home, you stay in there. You can stay in there if you're having issues paying your mortgage, you're late. Let's figure a way to either keep you there. And if you don't want to stay, then let's move you on so at least you don't lose it completely. So
Mhm.
there's a bit of counseling part of that too. So you wear a lot of different hats, but it's really, I find it exciting because every day you meet somebody different. It's not the same thing. Every day you meet somebody different.
Yes, everybody's very different. And there's no question about that, which keeps
Yeah.
life interesting.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
So, what advice would you give to someone starting out in real estate right now, or even starting their own business or in sales or something along those lines? What advice would you give them, Dorothy? You've obviously been doing this for a while and you have a perspective to share.
There are some of us who do well with rejection. If you're in sales, you're going to be rejected a lot.
Yes, you are.
Thick skin is a good thing. Some of us don't like that at all. We don't enjoy the rejection part. I think when you look at rejection, I have always said that if I go out and speak to a seller and they decide to give somebody else the property to sell, I'm perfectly all right calling you up and say, hey, what could I do better? What did I do to not earn your business? What could I do better? I'm not mad. I'm okay. I'm excited. One of my clients called me today and said, oh, Dorothy, I'd like you to handle this property, but I bought a really, really, really big house and I didn't use you because I play golf with this particular person. And I said, no problem. Thank you for at least thinking of me for the other one.
Yes.
I'm okay. That's enough. At least you called me. You were honest with me. I love this guy. He's amazing. And so we're going to work on that. But he was just, Dorothy, I play golf with him and that's it. He's going
There's
to
a
get that
reason.
because I got to play golf with him next week too. So it was fine. But every time, so if somebody's getting into the business, I'd say that look around and there's so many different offices out there. Each has a different model, but we're all selling real estate. The grass is not that green over there. It's how much time you're willing to put in yourself to learn the process and do it well. You could be with a huge office and be a number. You could be a small boutique firm and be okay. But it's all about the investment you want to make in yourself and how do you want to show up for that person you're working with. If I have to think, well, if I'm working with this person and I need to make X amount of money, you've lost it already because you're not there for the right thing. The right thing is to how can I help this person get into their home and stay in that home? If you're a first-time home buyer, then I recommend you take some, courses that will give you an idea of what sort of expenses you may come across. You move into the house, the hot water tank goes, the roof starts to leak. You got issues. You got to be ready. And some of us are caught short, So I try to make sure. I have one going through the course right now. She says, why do I have to do that? I said, because I also work on the foreclosure end. I don't want to come back for this
I
house.
don't want to see it, right?
Stay in it.
Right.
Gotta stay in it. At least stay in it till we sell it in 7, 10 years, or if you decide to stay here, just stay in it. But I always allow them to know, call me before we get too late. Do we all have issues? Absolutely. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, but I think when it comes to real estate, it's a big, big, big nut, and we all want to buy a home or whatever it is, but we forget the expenses that come with it. We just think, oh my God, I've got a house and I can invite my family over. Oh no, you got to pay that mortgage, you got to pay the electricity, the gas bill,
Right.
the oil bill. It adds up if you don't have a plan or a budget for that. So
Yes, and
I would say
whatever breaks, you have to fix. You can't go to the landlord to fix it in the
no,
apartment. It's
it's
totally a
all
different
yours.
arrangement.
It's all
Yes,
yours. But mentorship for these new agents, I always say find somebody who's willing to invest the time in you also. But it's all about you making the right choices, taking some courses, investing in you so that you can be better.
nice. So why did you
Absolutely.
start your own brokerage instead of working for one of the other companies?
I started out working for a company, um, a franchise company. They were good, but again, as I said, my mom's always brought us up. We've always been business owners, So
Entrepreneurs.
working for somebody else was a good idea, but then it means that I'm a rule follower, but some of your rules are crazy. I don't want to be on the wrong side of the rule. And I also know that if it's mine and it's my rules, I know that I will not be breaking the rules. So
Yes,
that's why, I like to stick with like the rules, the code of ethics, the laws, doing the paperwork. It's my rules. So if I screw it up, I'm on the hook.
right.
And if you want to work here, these are the rules and you can stay or you can go.
Yes, you have to own it. You have to own the rules. Yes,
Absolutely. Other with the big companies, and you realize you're working under somebody else's rules. And even if you were to challenge them, it's still their rules. So
right.
this was really important for me to be able to hang my hat and take the lumps that come with it. I've failed, I've succeeded, I've cried, I've learned, I've gone back to school. You've done it. And then, and every day is a learning experience. It's always something new.
That is fantastic. Let's shift gears for just a second. Tell us something interesting about yourself, or tell us what you like to do when you're not selling houses
Oh,
and
when I'm not
advising
selling real
people.
estate?
Is that ever?
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. I am a unique one because I do teach a lot. I do train across the country. I do a lot on Zoom, and sometimes I travel to areas and do some training. But when I'm not doing that, I love to bungee jump. I'm an avid soccer player and soccer coach. I watch the game. I work out to the games. I know the score and I still work out to the games. I love the game because Manchester United is my fan. They're crazy right now. They're crazy fans, but I watch the games. I love the games. I like the strategic thinking. I like the teamwork and I like the enthusiasm. And I also know it's over in 2 hours, please. It's not like American football. I'm going on forever. It's not cricket, so it's, that kind of thing. I also do the swan dive out of planes. I like that.
Wow.
I am a
Thrill
little
seeker.
crazy.
Yes. Adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, I will take risks. I love to eat. I love to travel. Travel is my thing. I've been to a lot of different countries, but I love to travel and meet new people. But it's one of these where real estate is my business. My trading and consulting business is another thing. But when I come home, I'm home. I don't work. I try not to work from home. That's my space. I want to come home at 6. I'm done.
You're
If
done.
my phone rings and it's work, I'm not answering it. But if it's my kids, I'll pick up. But most people, and I've been doing this so long that most people have now realized Dorothy doesn't do the weekend and Dorothy does not take phones after 6. No, don't
Right.
call Dorothy. I'll get back to you late. You need to rest your mind.
You do. And you need to train your clients and they'll be fine with it.
They're very good with it. I have not had a problem since I let them know, no, the banks are closed. Everybody's closed. We'll talk tomorrow. We could pick
Yeah.
it up at 9 o'clock or 8:30. I'm fine. But on the weekends also, unless we're looking at property, there's nothing to talk about. The banks are closed. And lenders are closed. There's nothing happening till Monday. So it's all about, you're right, training and having the conversation in the beginning to let them know what the expectations are of
Yes.
me from them and they from me so that we hopefully start out right. So yeah,
Yes.
but adrenaline junkie I am. Love it, love it. I like taking the risk. I'm gonna die soon. Let's just have fun whilst you're at it.
too boring here on land. Let's just jump out of a perfectly good airplane. Yes.
Let's just go. I did. I was the best. It was so much fun. I said, "Oh, I do it again." Then I took my son and we looked at each other. So, why we're going to try to die together? Yeah, honey, let's go do it together. It was great.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh, that is
I think it
great.
was great.
You talked about a training and consulting business. Do you want to talk about
Yes.
that?
Yeah, I could do that. My DB consulting. Yeah, my DB consulting training. I use that for my just for the teaching the classes
Okay.
that I have. I write my own courses. I like the whole cathartic episode of researching. I don't use AI. I just don't. I've always sat down and written my courses, and they come to me very easily because I enjoy that aspect and getting the PowerPoints or the graphics and whatnot. I have somebody for that because I like the writing and just dissecting and doing the research. Because again, I believe that in order for me to be able to teach it, I have to know it. It's like going back to school. When I was in school, I had a civics teacher and a literature teacher. And I went back to, I went to school in Ghana. I was in boarding school for about 6 years. And I went to school. So I have the British system of education, which is very different from what we have here. And we have and of course, I had to go to school with the nuns. God, my gosh, the nuns. I was such a troublemaker. I used to say my knuckles couldn't take enough rapping with the ruler. Just
Oh my gosh, that's
nuns,
crazy. Yeah.
great. But yeah, you have to think phonetically and you have to be able to research and you have to dig into the topic, the material. And I write the same way. And it's really exciting. So that branch of my business, and that's what I want to do more of once I keep saying I'm retiring at 65. I've gotten about 7 years left of selling real estate proper. But I love the teaching and the training and the discussions, the different points of view, people's ideas, understanding of topics. And it's really fun.
That is fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
with that, I think we're going to wrap up. Is there
Oh,
any
wow.
last words of wisdom for anyone listening?
If you're thinking of getting into any business at all, I believe you have to do some research. I did some research before I ended up in real estate. I did look at other businesses, and real estate just gave me the flexibility, time, and can make as much money as I put my mind to. But more importantly, it allowed you to be able to run your own ship, make your decisions, and be accountable to you. It's really important. So make sure if you're thinking of getting into business, make sure you do your homework on that because you can fail at it. But if you learn something, that's a good thing. Use it for the next thing. Don't give up. And it's not all roses. If you in real estate, you're it. You're the CEO, the bottle washer, garbage person, everybody. You're it. So make sure you have some fun and have a lot of fun with it. It's not that serious. It's serious, but it's not the end of the world if you take a day off. It's not the end of the world if you turn your phone off for an hour so you can eat.
Right.
People don't do that. It's great talking to you. And I hope to talk to you again.
Yes, this has been fantastic. So thank you, Dorothy. We appreciate your wisdom, your leadership, your contribution in your space. And for those that are listening, we'll have notes on this show. And if you are an entrepreneur, a broker, or a leader looking to scale with AI automation or digital strategy, visit technologiesnow.ai. That's our company. But mostly, thank you again, Dorothy, for joining us. This has been
It was a
fantastic.
pleasure. And thank you so much for having me. Goodbye, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Same here. Take care.